Morning everyone. I just want to share a technique. I need this hat for the project. So I'm going to share a technique, and if you want to follow along, you're going to need some embossing ink pad of some sort, you know, like perfect medium, a colour wash of some sort, or spray, whatever you want, some thick embossing powder, or thin, you can use that more, you know, double layer it. And what we're going to do first of all is to give it a paint, and I'm going to use just an acrylic paint, so I'm just going to give it a good shake. And just give that a nice quick paint. And you need a piece of paper as well. I have a tray for the embossing powder, but I can't find it because I've been moving things about. Now, I just want this colour. I'm going to be doing like a brown and cream heart. I want to put some metal embellishments on it. And maybe a bit of cream as a trim. If I've got time, because I've got some more things on my camera, so it might not last that long in order for me to show you the other, you know, the next stage, but I will if I can. So that's quite easy. Just paint your heart, or whatever piece, you know, it could be an oval, whatever, doesn't matter. Then we're going to dry that off. This is really quick, easy technique. In fact, the one I'm after, I need to... This is it. This is the one I'm going to use. Have some with a bit of glitter in it. You know, with a bit of... this one's a Cosmic Shimmer, and it's the Mango Blush, but it's beautiful. Love this to work with. Hopefully, it will spray. Let me just test it. Ah! Spray! It's not going to spray. I need to change the nozzle, I think. Just let me change the nozzle. That's the problem with them after so long. I think this nozzle works. See, if they don't use for a while, they dry up, and that's my problem. I don't use them that often. Oh, that works. I can swap it for that one. Just leave that on there a minute. There we go. Now I just have to spray this a little bit to get rid of the colour that's already in it. So, I'll be with you in a tick. Sorry, I mean, I didn't know it didn't spray. I'm sure I can be forgiven for something. There, that's it. Now, what you're going to do next is you take the embossing ink pad and you dab that on. Okay, is that working? Oh, that's not very good. I prefer the other one actually. Let me just find my... There we go. This should work as a new one. Yes. Just do it all over. Excuse me. Oops. Take your embossing powder. I need to clear my desk off again, ladies and gents. Sprinkle that on. Now what I do is I tend to press it down just so that it really does stick. Okay. I will put a couple of sheets down. Lift up the heart. Just put that somewhere else. Just going to pop that there. take the embossing powder, because you're going to need to do it again, maybe. I would do it again, even though it's thick embossing powder, because with this technique I'm showing you, the results are fabulous. So we're just going to take the hat with the heat gun and melt that again. Now I do have to say about these heat guns, this is a heat it up one. This one doesn't blow your stuff all over the place. It won't blow it off, where the others can, you know, tend to do that. But, you know, we've got to start off somewhere. I had one of the long nose ones, and I've got one that somebody gave to me when my last one of these went AWire, and I was very grateful of it. She, young follower, sent me it, and then Ray went and got me another one, because these are really, really good. I'm going to say, just melt this down. I'm going to show you a couple of things you can do. I've got a wooden one here. This is a chipboard one. And just to use up your products that you buy, that sometimes sit for a long time unused. And thanks to everybody for your support. You know, there'll always be haters. There always will be. It's nature of life, I'm afraid. And gossip, you know. Just whatever. I'm used to it. Okay, so now what we're going to do is, you see how it's not completely covered, it's like pitted marks in it. So we'll just leave that to cool down. And while that's cooling, let's just have a look. While that's cooling, we're going to get this one going as well. So again, I'm just going to use the same colour, because it doesn't matter. I'm going to hang these one above the other. And I'm going to use a little bit of chain. I just want the backgrounds the same. Like you say, this is the wooden one. A little bit more, Mrs. J. Like that. We'll just dry that one off. And we might as well just ink this one up. Ink it up really well. I'm not bothered about that getting on there. I've got a couple of these. Right, okay, so we've done that. Whoops. Get the lid back on, woman. That's it. Take pat that down just to make sure that it sticks. Just tap off the excess, you don't need much on there. you know, leave it on. Right, now we need to go back to this one. Sorry, let me just melt that one first, then that can be cooling. Ready for the next stage. I've shown you this technique that I'm going to do on this, on a butterfly, and unfortunately I never thought back then that naming them would mean people could find them properly, and I'm going to have to think very carefully how I name videos so that they're easy to find. But you will, I'm going to start putting the videos onto my new channel. You know, not new channel, onto my own website. At the moment, it's almost done. Just have to load up some more items for sale. Okie dokie, there's quite a bit there. Right, so we'll just pop that on top of there for now. Take this, we're going to ink it up once more using that. Well, that should be enough on there. Again, pop on some of this. And gently tap that off. Put that to one side. And then we pop that back in the box, in the tub. Right, I'm going to need that again for the other one. Excuse me. Now this doing it twice will give it a really nice coat, ready for this to go on it. What I'm going to show you will give you a nice textured finish to a box or a lid of something. You can do it on a jar, as long as you cover the jar first with tape. Don't leave the lid on it because it'll explode. Take the lid off so the air can get through to it. But you cover the outside of the jar in tape and apply your paint. And then you can get daubers of the ink, clear ink. Okay, now what you're going to do with this is, while it's still warm, spray it. So I'm just going to spray it. And it leaves like, you see, and more you spray it, the bigger the drips. Now, see what that is? And you can see it's steaming. You leave it for a minute or two just for the colours. It looks absolutely gorgeous, this. And what happens when I go to dry this off again, the embossing powder melts. The mica in the liquid sinks to the bottom of the embossing powder, leaving the colour at the top. So you get like pitted marks. That'll do. I can see that's just about where. Now what you do is dry it off. Don't touch it anymore, just dry it off. And as it melts, it will sink in and you'll see what happens. I don't know if I can bring the camera any... Oh, it's quite close. It should be okay. We'll just leave this to dry. And like I say, as it's melting the embossing powder, the mica sinks away from the liquid. Right, you can start to see it now with the bigger droplets, or the bigger pools of liquid. It's starting to break open and sink in. And it does, it looks great on a, either the, you know, background of a tag or the lid of a box. And obviously, you mix and match your colours. I've chosen a brown background to make the... So you use a dark background to make a light one stand out. If you're going to use a light... Oh, it's melting that with the heat here, look. If you're going to use a lighter one, a darker one of these, use a light background. Oh, it started to melt in my bottle. It's because of the heat of this, you see. I will take a very good close-up picture of the pitted marks. I think that's it. I think we've dried that. Hopefully, let me just stand up a little bit. Hopefully you can see the pitted marks. I think they look fabulous. And it's just a different technique. Now, I'm just going to pop that to one side to dry. I'm going to do this one. So we're going to go over it. Doing it a double coat. It's just play. I found this technique out. I haven't seen it anywhere. I found it when I was playing. Playing around, and I thought, oh, I like that. I like what happened there. I think it was one of those... I mean, of course somebody else will have done it somewhere, but it was a mistake I came across when I was playing, and I did something wrong, and I thought, oh, but I like that. Which is the way to do it. Play. I'm just going to have a drink of coffee. Oh, God. So I'm going to call this the pitted project. Or the pitted technique. Right, so once again, Hopefully it'll spray this time. It's gone a bit haywire, look, melted it. And you just drop it on so you can get bigger pits in it, like that. And it's just a great technique to use. When you hold the heat over it, you can see the mica spinning round and round inside the liquid. Renier, I'd like you to do a tag using this technique and see what you can come up with besides this, you know. That would be good to see, because I love your tags, and she's very, very creative with Renier. But it'd be nice to see one of her tags using this background, and then seeing what she would do to go with this sort of background. Because she has a wonderful mixed media mind. Right, I'm just going to try something, because they are quite big pools. So I'm just going to lift a little bit of the liquid. Just to see what happens. And that sets off a little bit more colour. I like that. That's something I've never done before on this particular technique. And what it's done, it's lifted. In fact, I love it. Absolutely love it. I'll show you the difference. I've lifted the actual colour from the liquid off, but it's left a much brighter. See how difference in the colour? But because I've left big pools of it, it makes a different sort of pattern. That's great technique. I love that. Yeah, I sure do. Great. That's just, I've learnt something new there. I mean, I've lifted paint before and lifted liquids before, but not doing it with this technique, so. Right, there you go. So that's two different hats. Using the smaller droplets, like that, leaving the colour on, and you can feel it, they're all ridged. I'll take some close-up pictures for you. And then leaving bigger pools, but lifting the colour. And you get that. I'm absolutely thrilled. And I'm going to hang those two like that. So, I hope you like that. I hope it's useful. Thanks for watching. Take care. And I'll speak to you soon. Bye-bye for now.